Well, it's cold, 25 below again. And frankly, that's the way it's going to be until spring. This will basically be the warmest it gets until April. March, maybe. But January, February will be like 40 below. So, you adapt and you figure out that it's better just to shrug and move on. You complain for a few days and then you go, goat. There's a goat. She's doing just fine. She's just, hi, sweetheart. Hi, darling. Oh, just my darling. She's a good goat. Anyway, so what's going on today? Well, nothing. Which leads me into the question I got. What do you do on the days where nothing happens? And they went on to elaborate a little bit on that question. What do you do for content when nothing happens? There's actually a lot of days when nothing happens. That's sometimes why you see me making candles or dyeing paper, making soap. And it's because that's what I do when there's nothing to do. That's what I do. Hi, guys. Yeah. Ducks and chickens and nonsense. But the days when nothing happens are full of pleasure. Because a day when nothing happens is so relaxing. There's always something happening, right? So if you have animals, especially larger ones, like Shadowy Fax here, who has mud on him for reasons I don't understand. I don't know why we're muddy, but we are. So he's muddy. Yay. But if you have animals, then you actually know what I'm talking about, right? You absolutely know that there's always something going on. That possibly someone's escaping, or a fence is down, or 100 other things could be going on, right? Like literally 100 other things. Someone could be sick and you have to call the vet. All kinds of things could be going on. And that's okay. Things happen. Checking on everyone. We okay? Yeah. All right. There's a turkey. Fluffy chicken butts here on multiple shelves. Up on that shelf. Up above me. I want to get pooped on. Up above me. Hi guys. That's great. I'm glad you guys are up there. So, the quiet days are the days you want. You don't want the days where you have to call the emergency vet. You don't want the days where the goats escape. You certainly don't want the days where someone dies. Because that happens too. It's a hobby farm. It 100% happens. Right? Bunch of crashing from in the barn. The horse isn't in there. Chickens are. So something happened and I don't care. But when something is happening on a hobby farm, unless it's your goat went into labor and everything goes well, generally when something happens, you hate it. Okay? Generally, when something happens, you get really resentful and really angry because it's not good. Because bad things are happening. Your goat is sick, your chickens died, 100 other things that can happen on a hobby farm. Okay, the other two are at the back. I was wondering where they were. Everyone's here. So, this is one of those things where a quiet day on the farm is exactly what you want. It's quiet, it's farm-like, it's ideal. So, when somebody asks, well, what do you do for content? I'm not really in it for content. I film to share the realities, and some of those realities suck. Some of those realities are a couple chickens died. Some of those realities are your rabbit had babies, but you lost the litter. Right? These are some of the realities of hobby farming. So when you have a day and you can stand here and go, you know what? Nothing happened. Not a darn thing. That's perfect. That's what you want. And I don't care if it's cold or hot or if nothing happened. If you get to the end of the day and you can legitimately say to yourself, hey, nothing happened. That's a good thing. That means you did something right. So I adore when the good things happen. But even more do I like when absolutely nothing happens. The good things are great. The good things are excellent. But the days where nothing happens, that's where you find some peace. And that's what this is supposed to be about. Finding peace. The days where I just fed everyone and cleaned a coop and I didn't even have to shovel the driveway because it didn't snow, but it did snow today. So something happened, but it didn't snow much. Like, let's go out to the driveway and I'll show you how much it didn't snow. Like, it didn't snow very much at all. And we're lucky. So, on the days where nothing happened, you appreciate it. Because, yeah, nothing great happened, but the nothing, that's where you live in peace. Where you're not anticipating, you're not worried, you're just calm. You're just standing around doing nothing. See, it did snow. Tire tracks are all gone. Not very much, so we're good. Anyway, let's go inside and see what I'm working on in there. Because I am working on stuff. Like I said, the days where nothing happens, that doesn't mean I'm doing nothing. So, what am I doing? I'm just going to adjust the camera. My head's getting cut off and I didn't see that. That is okay. So what am I doing in here? Well, I always do something even on the quiet days. So what I'm doing is I'm dyeing paper. This is just some dye, and I'm wearing gloves because I don't want my fingers dyed. And pulling it up. This is red dye, and if you only leave it for a few seconds, it's pink, which is what I want. Okay. I come over here, do a little bit of scrunching, not much, just enough. Just enough. And then I have a little spray bottle here, the different color dye. In this case, it's a green. And yeah, it ends up looking pretty cool. This one's not entirely dry, but it looks, you can't see it necessarily on camera, but it's a light pink. Here's another, not entirely dry, but it's a light pink with some light green splotches. What do I do with these? I make journals. I love making journals. I love doing different things, different projects, different things I enjoy. And one of the things I enjoy, I'm going to add a little more green to these ones. And you can use almost any dye. If it stains your fingers, it'll stain the paper. Someone's going to ask, what dye do you use? You can use almost anything. Okay, so if you have to wear gloves to handle it, it's fine. So in my case, this is old food coloring. Right? Just oops. Ripped a little bit. Gotta be more gentle than that if you're not gonna rip it. But yeah, just anything really. It doesn't really matter. You can use old Easter egg dye. So if you have, those thin boxes we all got with those tablets and everything, if you've got a couple of those in your cupboard, they dye paper really easily. And what kind of paper am I using? Literally just copy paper. Like copy paper that's been sitting on my shelf for a long time because I haven't really used it. So I'm throwing this one out. Not the paper, this is a bottle. I don't want it to leak all over the counter because I don't want to make a mess on the counter. Hence the dark towel. If you are going to do this, do use a dark towel. Okay? If you're going to do this, dark towels. Every time, dark towels. Okay? Don't try to get away with a lighter towel. It'll stain. I promise it'll stain. Dark towels are the way to go. Dark towels are the way to go. There we go. And then I let it fall. Not like that. I don't like the way that looks. So you just be gentle with your wet paper. Right? Be gentle with your wet paper and kind of crumple it in a pattern. It doesn't matter what that pattern is. It really does not matter what that pattern is. And then you take another color. You do like really tie-dye and do like 3 or 4 colors. But I'm just going to make some journals for like my mom and my sister. Stuff like that. It'll be fun. So that's what I'm doing today. It's just making the paper. And you just kind of take a look at where you might want more of the secondary color. Because then it's not so flat. Also, there's a kitten yelling at me. And then a little tip. Gloves have stain on them now. Just go over to your sink and rinse your hands with the gloves on. Okay? With the gloves on. Just your gloves are wet, but at least the ink is off your hands. So literally anything you have that stains your hands. Literally anything, if it'll stain your hands, it'll stain the paper. Right? You can use old food coloring, you can use fabric dye, you can use egg dye from those Easter egg kits. Whatever you've got, it doesn't matter. Whatever you've got, it'll work. And I know you're hearing Little Miss. Again, I got gloves and dye. I can't pick her up right now. That seems like every single day she's meowing to get picked up, and I can't pick her up because I'm doing something. I do pick her up plenty, I promise. People are always carrying her around, snuggling her. She's fine. So then when you remove your gloves, I try not to turn them inside out because I'm really bad at turning them back the other way. And one of the ways I release them is I just kind of pull them up away from my wrist just to kind of pop the air seal because you kind of get this little air seal happening. And these are just vinyl gloves. They're latex free because I have a latex allergy. You can use latex gloves if you want. Use the powder free ones. The powder will wreck your dye. Okay, if you get the powder in there, don't use ones with powder. So powder-free gloves, latex-free if you're allergic. But yeah, and then you just, there you go. So I got 5 pieces right now drying. When they are fully dry, this one is a couple of them have a little rip. Sometimes that'll happen, right? Because it's wet paper, so sometimes you'll have a little rip. But, I mean, it's ultimately going to look really cool. It looks better in person than on camera. On camera, it can look a little wonky. But, yeah, that's just what we're doing this afternoon. So I'm just going to keep doing this. Eventually, we're making tacos, but I'm not going to film that because I filmed that before. I might film it next time. I don't know. So right now, people have asked how my dad is. He's okay. He broke his sternum in a car crash almost a week ago now. He's home. He's okay. He's resting. It's going to take weeks to heal, but he'll be okay. So we are keeping on top of him, making sure he feels okay, and then we just keep going. Anyway, that is going to be about it for us here today at Anderson Acres. Yes, I don't have very much dye in here. You just need a little bit at the bottom, and I just pour it into a jar when I'm done and reuse it. You don't have to get rid of it. It stores fine. As long as you didn't use something weird, like something food-based to put in here, it's fine. You just put it in a jar, use it again tomorrow. It's fine. So that's what I'm doing right now. You can do this with tea or coffee, but tea or coffee you can't necessarily keep overnight because it can go bad. Like you'll open your coffee the next day. So you can do it with tea or coffee too to make kind of an aged look, but I'm deliberately making some color for journals that I'm going to be making. Am I going to be only doing this color? No, I'll be doing other colors as well. It'll be fun. But that is about it for us here today at Anderson Acres. I hope you had some fun making paper, and I hope you like talking about how quiet it is on the farm some days, like today. And this is the kind of thing I get up to when I have nothing to do. Nothing urgent, no bad farm stuff. When there's no bad farm stuff or exciting farm stuff happening, you find time for the little projects. I hope you do too. We'll see you tomorrow.